Hi guys, Mons here. On this episode of Ball in Mons, I'm going to give a quick review of the Manchester United versus Aston Villa game from last night. Just before I get started, if you're subscribed to my page so far on my YouTube account, I do appreciate all the support. If you haven't subscribed and you find yourself on my page, please make sure you hit on the subscribe button before watching my video or after watching my video. So it's just going to be a quick review of what I noticed in the Manchester United game yesterday. So I actually felt Manchester United played really well in this game. To be honest, we just had we created a good few chances. However, we just didn't take them. If we had a more clinical striker than Big Benjamin, which Big Benjamin is my guy, however, I felt he should have got at least one of the two chances. He could have put away one of the two chances he got yesterday, in my opinion. I felt Manchester United were a much better team. They pressed high up. They caught Aston Villa because Aston Villa thought Man United want to go there and sit back. And honestly, to be fair to Ruben Amorim, the tactics were spot on. I honestly can't even blame him from yesterday, simply because he had a good tactics, he had a good game plan. The player executed 75% of it, in my opinion. The other 25% was actually putting the ball in the back of the net because we created a lot of chances, we pressed high up, and we actually won the ball back from Aston Villa a good few times. Like I said, the pressing was very, very good. Man United looked very, very well set up, but Aston Villa looked very, very dangerous on the counter-attack, in my opinion. Whenever they got the ball to either Tielemans or John McGinn, and they hit the ball, big diagonal ball to Morgan Rogers on the left-hand side. It was very, very good. And that's how the goal came. McGinn won the ball back, played a long diagonal ball to Morgan Rogers, took a good touch, took another touch. And I thought Euro was very, very poor for the goal. I know Morgan Rogers was brilliant and the finish was unbelievable. However, I felt Euro was very, very poor. You know what Morgan Rogers do? He's a right footer. He's going to cut in. He's going to cut in. He's going to cut in. Show him down the line. I know it's easy for me to say. However, as a professional player, as a defender for Manchester United, you need to know what Morgan Rogers do. You watch it. Everybody knows what he was going to do. He wants to cut in and have a shot. And Euro just stood off him, showed him the inside. And Morgan Rogers obliged. He cut in and he had an absolute screamer of a goal, in my opinion. It was a brilliant goal, to be fair. However, I thought Euro should have done better. And like I said, Man United hit back straight away with good press from Dorgu, who actually had a decent game yesterday. His final ball could be better. He actually put in a good decent crosses yesterday. However, his final ball could still be better. He's still a young player. I think he's going to keep developing. We hit back yesterday, and Mateus Cunha, brother Cunha, took the goal very, very well, to be honest. It was a very, very good finish. I thought I was going to lay it back to the Mason Mount. It was the Sesko that was in the box, but he actually buried it bottom corner. It was very, very good. It was a very, very good finish. 1-1, I was feeling very optimistic, but when Bruno pulled up, my captain, my guy Bruno, I felt Man United had they had a very, very slim chance of winning this game. I would have been ecstatic with a draw yesterday, like I said in my prediction. Like I said, the back three, Manchester United back three defenders is just so bad. Like, as much as I like to blame Amorim, I'm not going to come on here today and blame Amorim whatsoever, because that back three, there's no Maguire, there's no De Ligt. You have Shaw, you have Aiden Heaven, and you have Euro. Aiden Heaven was okay at the start of the game, was actually, he made a brilliant few tackles. However, I felt Euro was so poor yesterday. He's a very highly rated centre-half, but whenever I see them play, he doesn't stand out. Against Crystal Palace, he got caught out a few times. Yesterday, he got caught out. It was an embarrassment for me. For a player that's so highly rated by everybody, I think he needs to do a lot better whenever he gets his chance, in my opinion. I'm not going to come on here and blame Amorim for yesterday's game, in my opinion. I'm just looking at my notes that I made in the game. When Bruno went off, I felt the onus was on Mason Mount and brother Cunha to be leaders in this team. And to be fair to Cunha was everywhere. And Mason Mount tried his hardest, but we missed Bruno. This is what Manchester United are going to look like without Bruno. No cutting edge. We need Bruno. Now, this just shows every idiotic Manchester United fan. We said we should have stole Bruno this summer, or we're better off without Bruno. They're so stupid, because without Bruno on this team, we look like basically bottom 5 or bottom 7 team, in my opinion. Bruno is the guy that makes the team tick, and I can't wait till he gets back. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. I heard Maino was also out injured. And just to touch on Maino, his brother is an absolute idiot for wearing that free Maino t-shirt. It doesn't help Maino whatsoever. I like Maino. I feel he should be playing more games. However, your brother should have told you what he was going to do. And if Maino knew his brother was going to do that and he approved of it, he's an absolute idiot as well. I'm always going to back the players. However, in this case, if you knew your brother was going to do it and you let him do that, Maino's an absolute idiot. And the brother's a bigger fool and bigger idiot for doing that and wrecking his brother's chances of actually staying in Man United and getting more game time. And unfortunately for Maino, he's obviously out injured now while Bruno's out. And this would have been the perfect chance to come in and make a statement and make your claim for starting 11 team. In this game, same again, the second goal, Morgan Rogers, he just Euro and Aiden Heaven were so poor for Aiden Heaven fell asleep for that goal, and Euro just not up to it. I can't wait to delete Maguire back for them to get back into that team. This Manchester United team, there's so much a manager can do. At a certain stage, you have to look at the players. The players are just, especially defenders. Defenders are just not good enough. I think if your defenders aren't good enough in the back three, there's no hope in hell of you winning the game. The system Amorim plays, I'm critical of the system, however, the players you need to play them, Manchester United, they're all injured at the moment. You need Delete, you need Maguire in that team, unfortunately. And I thought Martinez actually did okay when he came on as a holding midfielder in that game. Like I said, I felt Manchester United were a better team. That's what frustrated me the most about this. I did feel Manchester United were a better team in this game. Like I said, I think 2 weeks ago, I said next 3 games will be vital for Manchester United. We had Bournemouth, we have Aston Villa, and we also have Newcastle. They've only managed to pick up 1 point out of 6 games. That's not good enough. We have Newcastle at 26. That's a huge game. If we win that, we'll keep in touching pace, touching distance with the top 4 and top 5. We're only 3 points behind the top 4. Like I said, this league this year, it's wide open. Just put a run of 3, 4, 5 games together. You will be second or third. I'm being that serious. If we were a little bit more consistent and we had a better striker, or maybe even if we had better defenders, we would be top 2 right now, in my opinion. And that's what's so disappointing, because I can come on here and blame Amorim. I'm not going to blame Amorim whatsoever for yesterday's game. He had a perfect game plan. We pressed high up, won the ball. Basically, I think he's getting sabotaged by the ownership simply because we need more players to be brought in. It's just simple as that. You can't give a manager shit players and expect them to make them really, really good, especially the defenders. I know that they're out injured. You can plan for that. Bring in another defender. I think we need another defender, and we definitely need someone like Semenyo in attack, because we need someone that can score goals. Our finishing is so poor. When you look at our XG, I think we're the most underperforming XG team in terms of we have high XG, but we never convert the chances. So I think that can be solved in January. We need to bring in another striker in January. And I do feel bad for Amorim. I'm the biggest Amorim hater here, and I feel bad for him after that game yesterday. And then Roy Keane talking about, oh, Man United don't work. Of course, the irony about what Roy Keane said yesterday was that was probably our best game in terms of pressing and working hard off the ball. Roy Keane, I don't think he actually watches the game properly. All he always talks about, bangs about, is passion, running around. I love Roy Keane as a player. One of my favorite Manchester United players growing up, but I honestly cannot stand him as a pundit. He has the same mistake over and over again about passion, running, desire. Man, come on, use something else. Give us some tactical opinion in the game. You can't just keep using that same mistake over and over again. That's pretty much sums up everything for me. I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to drop a Premier League review of the games I watched this weekend. Thank you very much for making to my end of my video. Make sure to click on the subscribe button. Thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely week, weekend. Like I said, I'm going to come back tomorrow, drop the video for the Premier League review for this week, and then maybe on Wednesday, Christmas Day maybe, or Thursday, or maybe Friday, I might drop the Premier League preview and prediction for the game we're coming up. Thank you very much. Make sure to click on the subscribe button. Peace out. Thank you.